Welcome to another part of the Clionadh Chronicles. If you don't know what that is, I have a lot of Clionadh eyeshadows, I think 72 in total. And I thought the best way just to showcase them is not only to swatch them randomly, I want to create looks with these. So in each video, you see 3 different looks with 3 randomly selected Clionadh single eyeshadows. How I do this, I spin a wheel of fortune before every look, then I show you a swatch, I show you the description, I show you a close-up video, and then I pull out another palette of mine and create a look. This, for example, is the first look and 3 as said in total, and I would say without any more rambling, let's head into the looks. Okay, let's spin the wheel for the first shade of the video, and I am excited. What is it going to be? Catalyst. Okay. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Catalyst, if I can open this, is this beautiful shade up here. The Catalyst is a dimensional multi-chrome, and it says on the website, shifts turquoise, indigo, violet, red, gold with multicolored micro glitter and an aqua sheen. Oh, this is tickling a lot. So let's see how this swatches. Here you see it for the first time. And now let me look at it. Okay, I see the turquoise, I see the purple, I see the glitter. And it is not as opaque and thick as some of the other shades that we already had in this series. I do like that in the phone video you can even see the aqua sheen and the glitter with it being focused. Usually this is just something that just comes out unfocused the best way possible. But this I think you can see even with the focus in. Because of that purple, aqua, indigo, pink sheen, I thought let's pull in the ColourPop Aurora Struck as a matte, and maybe I will even use one of these as inner corner or use some of my glitters. Not sure at this point, but I think the mattes will match it perfectly. So I'm starting with the shade Great Earth, and this is one of those sequin mattes. It is a matte, but it has some tiny glitter specks throughout, and I use this in the crease and also up to the brow bone, or to brows in general, for my transition area. Oh my god, that was such a hard sentence. Now go into the shade Icelandic, and that one I apply in the outer V and throughout the crease. It deepens and tones down since this is quite a thin grayish color. Honestly, I don't think that you can see this, but the sequin glitters from the first shade are shining through. Now it mixes it with Icelandic and it just gives this beautiful Scandinavian nature at night vibe. I don't know how to describe this better. Honestly, I feel inspired to do a video just surrounding this palette. Would you like to see this? Let me know. But I do want to lighten it up a bit and give now a bit more purpley hue to it. So I go into the shade No Sleep. It's a very, very small brush, and that one I start to apply here on the inner crease part. So we have a kind of pasteled vibe here. I then tap back into Great Earth and I use this on the most outer edges of this look to give back a little bit of the blue tint. I applied my glitter glue. This time I used the Suetné one because it's very, very sticky, and since there are tiny glitter specks in that, that makes it very, very handy. And now I pick up the shade. And I picked up a bit too much, so I start to tap this carefully here on one lid and already apply this on the other lid too. And then I just fill out my complete lid with this shade. I then use the brush I used the gray with, and I just go through the crease. You know the drill, breaking up any edges. This formulation, by the way, is not only feeling different when swatched, it applies very different and it picks up very different on a brush. These are a bit, I would even say, more loose than the other shades that we tested so far because of the glitter in it and just different shifts and sheen going on. For the liner, I take the ColourPop cream liner in Amethyst Hour. It's a pastel lilac shade, and I line the waterline with that. I now tap into the shade Midnight Sun from ColourPop. very, very tight to the lower lash line. Apply this all around it. Or all along? I'm always unsure. And I now go into Great Earth again from the beginning. And I use this to smudge it below and smudge that darker shade out. Honestly, the choice for inner corner highlight is super hard between So Lit, Fill and Wavy, Solar Vibes, Comet Seekin from ColourPop, or Persephone from the Diamond Skin Palette from Slayfire Cosmetics, because it's a glitter that it has a translucent base, but it shifts blue. Since I'm honestly thinking of doing a dedicated video for the Aurora Struck palette, I will go in with Persephone from Slayfire Cosmetics. If you want to get the palette, ELLAKINKLEY is the code, gives you 10% off. They do have mini glitter palettes now that are stunning. I take some of the shade here. I love that these glitter gels are more on the dry side, so they are easy to just get stuck on the skin. It's weird, but it works. So I picked it up and now I apply it on both inner corners. We have the first look. On the lips I'm wearing MAC lip liner in Grayish and then the Modesty lipstick. I just couldn't help myself. I needed to incorporate another shade from the Aurora Struck, and I applied Fill and Wavy as as brow bone highlight. Such a beautiful look. It's like a dark winter fairy vibe, kind of, and I'm very excited to now show you look number 2. Okay, so let's spin right away the wheel for the next look of this video. I'm always very excited for this because I get creative, and the shade is Bloodline today. Ooh. So Bloodline is this beautiful shade here, and I just realized that I labeled and sorted it wrong, because here in this row I have, I think all of my glitter vibrant multi-chromes, but Bloodline is a vibrant multi-chrome. When I do new labels for the palettes, I will sort that new, but as long as I have still these rows missing and they're not filled, I will not print out new labels. So let's now take a look to Bloodline. It is this very interesting shade, and as said, it's a vibrant multi-chrome and is described as burgundy berry base that shifts gold, green, turquoise, blue, purple. And once again, we have a gold shift and the green shift, a bit of turquoise. It's quite interesting how similar these all actually are described, but how different they then look. So here is the swatch for you. When I look at this, I see the pink. I don't see burgundy berry, to be honest, as base, but I do see the green, the lime, a bit of turquoise. It's a very interesting shade. It's like an oil spill shade, but a lighter one. You know, the true oil spill shades, they have a lot of dark bases usually going on, but this is like a lighter version of it. And here you have the phone video, this time a bit longer, because it is really hard to capture these very different shifts. It is depending a lot of how the light is hitting it, because when the light from this side hits, I see the blue. But when I then twist my hand and the light from this side hits, I see the lime. So that's just the true magic of multi-chrome. Now let's choose a palette for this. I don't know what palette you had in mind. I mean, you know most part of my collection, but whatever it is, I am drawn to use the MAC 40 Shades of Pride palette for this, because it has some very, very interesting shades in here that can work with this type of shade. So what I'm thinking of is a matte like this, a bit of pink, then these shades here, the like dark turquoisey shades, maybe mixed in with some purple. So I tried to create now a very sultry, smoky base for this look. And to frame this whole look, I start with this shade here, and this is Query 2.0. And I use this as my transition color. I could have used a bigger brush, but that was just the first that I grabbed. I feel like Query 2.0 would also make a great contour shade for pale people like me, because it has a gray base, but it has a lot of purple hues going on. And now go into this pink shade, and this is called Hold My Scrunchie. The name is a bit cringe. And that one I blend on the inner crease part, and I bring it nearly all the way through the crease, but not completely. Like this little part here is empty. I now go into this super dark shade here. It's like an aubergine and it's called Shadow Lady 2.0. And that one goes into the outer V area. And that I also bring into the crease and mix it up with Hold More Scrunchie. I also went back into Query 2.0 and I just used this to diffuse any harsh edges. Now let's add Bloodline to the magic here. And I apply this all over my lid. I hope you can see the shift to the greens as I can see them here in the mirror, because I love the contrast between the pinkish hue and the green then on the opposite side basically. Oh, it's so pretty. Then in other angles it's more golden with this pink undertone. These shades just never fail to wow me. I first take now the brush that I use the darker shade with and just go through the outer crease part with that, but no additional product on. And then I also take the brush where I had Hold My Scrunchie on and I do the same thing here on the inner crease part and bring that slightly outwards. I'm not sure yet if I feel linery. I might add it later, but first of all I start with this shade here. This is Plumish 2.0. It is a very, very dark petrol greeny color. And that one I smudge all along my lower lash line. And then I also take Shadow Lady 2.0 and I smudge this on top and below. For a little bit of light and a little bit more smokiness, I went in Query 2.0. And I use a very, very light layer to just smudge that out. Told you it's going to be smoky today, but I don't feel like liner still. I think liner would distract a lot from the eye look or from the lid itself. For glitter, I want to use, or for inner corner highlight, I want to use something that matches the vibe. Definitely there would be something into the MAC 40 Shades of Pride, but as I told you, the glitter me is back. So I go into my Space Case Mini. This is not from Slayfire. This is from Lemonhead LA, basically the other glitter gel company that went very, very viral because of the shade Houdini that was used on the Euphoria set, which is nearly empty in mine. But I want to go into, I'm not sure, one of these two. This here is called Happy Ending and the one next to it is Lady Mercury, because they both have this sort of muted plum undertone, but with very, very nice glitter specks. I also see green, I see yellow, I see some pink, but I think Happy Ending would match better. Both have different sized glitters in it, so it will be very, very chaotic and a bit artsy. So I took some of Happy Ending and now I'm just carefully dabbing this on. There are small glitters, there are some big chunky ones. So you can, with the brush, just move them around a bit. And here we have the second finished look. I mean, how pretty is that? On the brow bone, I then went back to the MAC palette and I used this shade up here. This is White Frost 2.0. This is such a Y2K shade, like this frosty white, but I totally love that. And yeah, for the lips, Natasha Denona My Dream lip liner, and topped it off with my Focus Box gloss that I think I'm doing quite a nice progress. I either started way too high. I told you that it was way fuller than it actually is, because I feel like I'm down to this already. So I try to force myself and use this. But now let's head over to look number 3. Time flies when you have fun, so let's spin the wheel for the last look of the video. And I'm always very excited because I never know what I'm going to get. So it's Coat of Arms. Coat of Arms is in my Clionadh palette number 3 and it's this purpley shade here. This is a hybrid multi-chrome that right now as I'm filming this, which is in the beginning of January, so today is January 8th. Just so you know, if you're building a wish list or so, it is sold out on the website, but I guess it might come back. But it is described as a plum brown base with blue indigo red shifts. Compared to the other shades, this is also price-wise one of the most affordable ones. For me, it's €8.92, which I think is down to the fact that this is not the classic or like the new intense Clionadh multi-chrome vibe. So let's swatch it here. This is definitely more like a classic duo slash multi-chrome, and honestly, I think it's more duo than multi when I look at it directly. In the video here with flash, you can see the beautiful base, you can see the blue specks. I'm missing the red one, but I think this is a bit of a more colorful oil spill shade, which I like. For the mattes, I will be pulling in the Nomad Cosmetics New Zealand Stargazing palette because it has these purples, grays, a little bit of pinky ones, but also blues and darks, so I think I can create a nice base. Honestly, it's a bit of a shame that I just used this for the base because this has beautiful multi-chromes from Nomad itself. I mean, like, look at Southern Cross, but it's all about making the Clionadh shade shine. I want to do a very smoky classic me look actually. So I start with the shade Color Observatory, and that one I apply directly here on the outer third of my eye. You know me, I'm messy, and I always say trust the freaking process. So I apply this, blend it out a bit, blend it up a bit, but that's it. I now go into this purple here. This is Aurora Mackenzie. I'm really sorry if I'm mispronouncing these names. But I start to blend this in the center of my crease in like wiping motions. And then I bring it inwards, but I'm also blending it outwards and on top of the darker blue. I now take Auckland Stardome, and this final blending shade goes in the inner crease part. And then and then I swipe it towards the center. And whatever is left on the brush, I use very light-handed and frame basically all the blends. I don't like the harsh lines that I have now, so I go into Tongariro Night Hike. I probably embarrass myself with these names. But I take this on a super fluffy brush and also light-handed. I just dust this basically around this upper blend so that it just melts better together. Now I take coat of arms and I apply this all over my lid. We're staying in the monochromatic purple with the liner. This is the ColourPop liner in Charmer. It's a dark matte purple. And I use this to line my borderline. I then use one of these flat brushes and tap into Dark Sky Nation. And that one I very, very carefully just press directly on the lower lash line. I just want to create a black like border. Because I now go into the purple, Aurora Mackenzie, and that one I use now to blend that out. I also go into that matte neutral shade, the Tongariro Night Hike, and use this to tone down and blend out any harsh lines here. For the inner corner highlight, I go into the mini space case from Lemonhead LA again, and this time I'm using the viral Houdini shade. So I picked some of this up and now tap this here on the inner corner. And here is the last finished look. I went back into the New Zealand Stargazing and went with Aurora Australis and applied this as my brow bone highlight because glitter or these types of glitters, not every day for brow bone highlight. I don't like that. But for inner corner, oh, love that. And here we have it. By the way, on the lips, I'm just wearing a lip mask because they are, for whatever reason, completely dried and weird. So no lipstick, no lip gloss, no lip liner for me for a couple days at least. I love this. I think this is such a pretty look, but to be honest, in this video, there were just banging looks and I can't really decide what look is my favorite, so you need to tell me. By the way, I do have other single eyeshadows in these kind of palettes. I have 2 full palettes of Glaminatrix and I have 1 palette from Terra Moon Cosmetics. So if you're interested in a video like this that features Glaminatrix, maybe also even in this Spin the Wheel character or Terra Moon, let me know down below. I'm very happy to do so. Thank you so much for staying with me in this video. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out any of the other upcoming videos, and I see you soon.